Hey everyone, welcome to day 23 in our devotional series heading in toward Easter. And if this is your first time with us and you're just joining in this last week before Easter, thank you so much for joining us. If you've yet to download your devotional guide, you can do that. You can follow the link right here on the YouTube video, or you can go to northcoastchurch.com. We've got a great Good Friday service that we're going to be hosting online. Encourage you to be able to attend that, or if you have a local campus near you, to go over there on this Friday. Let's go ahead and dive into Matthew chapter 23. If you've yet to be able to read along, I encourage you to do that. We're going to be in the NIV, and you can also download the devotional guide by utilizing this link right here in the YouTube video. All right, let's dive into our chapter. Then Jesus said to the crowds and to his disciples, "The teachers of the law and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. So you must be careful to do everything they tell you, but do not do what they do, for they do not practice what they preach. They tie up heavy, cumbersome loads and put them on the people's shoulders, but they themselves are not willing to lift a finger to move them. Everything they do is done for people to see. They make their phylacteries wide and their tassels on their garments long. They love the place of honor at banquets and the most important seats in the synagogues. They love to be greeted with respect in the marketplace, to be called rabbi by others. But you are not to be called rabbi, for you have one teacher, and you are all brothers. And do not call anyone on earth father, for you have one Father, and he is in heaven. Nor are you to be called instructors, for you have one instructor, the Messiah. The greatest among you will be your servant, for those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You shut the door of the kingdom of heaven in people's faces. You yourselves do not enter. You yourselves do not enter. You yourselves do not enter, nor will you let those who enter who are trying to. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You travel over land and sea to win a single convert, and when you have succeeded, you make them twice as much a child of hell as you are. Woe to you, blind guides! You say if anyone swears by the temple, it means nothing, but anyone who swears by the gold of the temple is bound by that oath. You blind fools, which is greater, the gold or the temple that makes the gold sacred? You also say, if anyone swears by the altar, it means nothing. But anyone who swears by the gift on the altar is bound by that oath. You blind men, which is greater, the gift or the altar that makes the gift sacred? Therefore, anyone who swears by the altar swears by it and by everything on it. And anyone who swears by the temple swears by it and by the one who dwells in it. And anyone who swears by heaven swears by God's throne and by the one who sits on it. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You give 1/10 of your spices, mint, dill, and cumin, but you have neglected the more important matters of the law, justice, mercy, and faithfulness. You should have practiced the latter without neglecting the former. You blind guides! You strain out a gnat but swallow a camel. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You clean the outside of the cup and dish, but inside they are full of greed and self-indulgence. Blind Pharisee, first clean the inside of the cup and dish, and then the outside will also be clean. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside are full of the bones of the dead and everything unclean. In the same way, on the outside you appear to be as righteous, but on the inside you are full of hypocrisy and wickedness. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You build tombs for the prophets and decorate the graves of the righteous. You say, if you had lived in the days of your ancestors, we would not have taken part with them in shedding of the blood of the prophets. So you testify against yourselves that you are the descendants of those who murdered the prophets. Go ahead then, and complete what your ancestors started. You snakes, you brood of vipers, how will you escape being condemned to hell? Therefore, I am sending you prophets and sages and teachers. Some of them you will kill and crucify. Others you will flog in your synagogues and pursue from town to town. And so upon you will come on all the righteous blood that has been shed on earth, from the blood of the righteous Abel to the blood of Zechariah, the son of Berechiah, whom you murdered between the temple and the altar. Truly I tell you, all this will come in this generation. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you who kill the prophets and stone those sent to you, how often I have longed to gather your children together, as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, and you were not willing. Look, your house is left to you desolate. For I tell you, you will not see me again until you say, Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Matthew chapter 23. One of the harshest chapters in Matthew, as Jesus talks specifically to the Pharisees and the teachers at that point in time. So we have to take a step back here and look at this chapter and recognize who he's speaking to and why. And then how does this really apply to us? 7 woes he gives them, warnings to them in their hypocritical nature, that they are trying to build themselves up, making themselves greater than they ought to, and that there's only one God, there's only one Son, there's only one Messiah. And they want to make sure that they are in a place of authority rather than pointing people to the position of authority. And he talks about their lives. And I think this is really where we can end up taking in great application for ourselves. I love the part in verse 25, and he talks about, you're so concerned with the outside of the cup being clean, but one of you stop to really look at the inside of the cup. If it's not clean, then the cup isn't clean. And for you and I in our lives, in our walk with Christ, there are so many concerns and worries in this world that are worthwhile and notable. But we first must look at the inside of the cup in any and every situation, just as Jesus talks about the log in our own eye versus the speck in somebody else's. That we need to take the log out of our own eye first, that we need to look at our own cup, and is it clean? Are we being honoring with what it is that we do, what it is that we say, what it is that we hear? Is our own cup, is our own life, is our own home in order? Are we in a place that we can then give advice, not judgment, to those around us? And he's got harsh words for them for not doing this. And then lastly, he gets down to the parts where they say, we wouldn't be those that kill the prophets. And yet he's saying, I am a prophet in front of you, and you are going to kill me. And then you're going to end up flogging the disciples and ultimately murdering many of them who have come in the name of the Lord. And so there's that side for us of making sure that we are really paying attention to the things of God. And then our hearts are soft and moldable, filled with compassion, grace, mercy, truth, for sure. But that is an even weighed scale of grace and truth. Truth is so important for us to be able to live our lives and know the direction that we should be going. Grace helps us to interact with others so that we can point them towards the truth. Thank you so much for joining us today. Encourage you, read over these woes. How do we apply them to our own lives so that we can be our best for Jesus? Have a good day, everyone.